a lot of stress tonight, a lot of allegations, even from our own colleagues attacking us, calling us tools of the administration. Cynthia called me on Monday, and she called me with a concern. And says, Victor, do you think I should resign? Do you think it's a conflict? Cynthia's sitting right there, who just publicly resigned from the PR committee. And I asked her what was going on, and she said, the Freebolds, Jake Freebold, has been talking to my editor, and I feel threatened, and it's become an issue where I don't know if I should continue volunteering for the town. And I said, look, I don't think that's a conflict, Cynthia. There may be a conflict with your employer, but that's really up to your employer to make a decision. You remember the conversation. And I said, but when Mr. Freebold starts attacking your livelihood, where you make your money, where you feed your kids and your children, okay? I said, that's the most important thing in life. I said, you have to protect your livelihood. And I said, if it means that protecting the livelihood, if it means resigning from the PR committee, please, you make that decision, but I'm not going to make that decision for you. So you came up here and you publicly resigned, and I'm sorry that you're feeling that way. I'm sorry that you feel bullied. We all being attacked here, or being bullied. My wife's name was just mentioned up there by Mr. Freebold. I mean, that's scary, okay? Just making an assumption that there's some quid pro quo in some way about some contract. I have to stand up for my wife. I have to stand up for people like Cynthia, okay? It takes a lot of courage to speak your emotions. And I sit here, and I ask questions, Councilman. I ask questions from the administration. They know. I call. Just because I don't do it publicly, and just because I don't, filibuster and talk, it doesn't mean that I'm not doing my job. It doesn't mean that I'm not independent. I think I'm an independent thinker. I think I try to do the best that I can to represent you. You might not agree with me, that's fine. And you know what? That's your right. This is your town, Mr. Meyerowitz. This West Orange belongs to the people, okay? But now we're being personally attacked, personally persecuted. I mean, we have to be very careful. So, Mr. Freebold, I do want to apologize, and the young lady up front talked about needing an apology and a retraction. And yes, it does, because that letter was poorly researched, it was poorly written, and it was probably ill-advised. We don't agree with that letter. We didn't even know about it. Okay? But I did my research, and I found out that the concern is westorange.info is the concern. So it could have been done a different way. I would have done it a different way. I could have talked to Mr. Freebold and said, look, there can be a confusion. He has First Amendment rights to do what he's doing. He can do that whenever he wants. This is America, man. My family came to this country for freedom, to talk, to be able to speak, to have, Ms. Bosco or the members of the public come up here and express their thoughts. I love it. But now, it's getting a little too personal, very uncomfortable. But again, I do want to say that on behalf of the Township Council, I apologize, Mr. Freebold, and ill-advised, and perhaps that was the response that should have received. And now we have to heal ourselves, try to clean up this calamity of terrible PR that Mr. Krakowiak mentioned. But thank you all for your comments, and I wish I could go through all the different points, but in the interest of time, we're going to continue with our meeting. Thank you. Madam Clerk?